Hey, what is up? This is Mikhail with Hustle System, where art meets commerce. I'm coming to you today from Cape Town, South Africa. And in this video, we're going to be talking about a topic near and dear to my heart, and that's known as entrepreneurial suicide. So this really comes down to the reason why I came to Cape Town on this trip. And on one level, it was because I wanted to, but there's really something else to it. It's because I had to. Okay, so I've spent the last 3 or 4 years building somebody else's company, really helping them scale from where they were, fixing things, going in and healing the wounds, if you will, of a multi-million-dollar business. And it got to a point where I sacrificed everything in order to be able to do that. I sacrificed my weekends, I sacrificed my holidays, I sacrificed personal days, I sacrificed birthdays, I sacrificed my own birthdays, friends' birthdays, family's birthdays, time with family, time out with friends, time enjoying myself. Wasn't really having too much of that. And so that's why I have to make this video here today, is to talk about this idea of entrepreneurial suicide. And that's when you choose to allow somebody else to define your dreams and your goals for you. And you support those goals thinking that at some point it's going to come back around, come back full circle. And you have moments like this, like I'm having here today, when you realize that it doesn't always come back around. Sometimes it's a zero-sum game. Sometimes you play only to realize that person's not aware of what you did, or your boss might not be aware, or if you ever had it where you do a favor for a friend and then when you need a favor back, they don't return it. So that's the big reason why I'm here today in Cape Town. Is I had to unplug. I had to pull myself physically out of a situation where I was at my wit's end. I was burned out. I was exhausted. I was overworked. I was stressed. I was experiencing panic attacks, anxiety attacks, emotional breakdowns on a continual basis. And that's not something that I talk about very frequently on this channel, right? Most of the time, you guys know me as a beast. I'm a monster, and my performance tracking is very, very good. I do get a lot of things done and definitely perform at a very high level, but that doesn't mean that we can't sit here and be a little bit vulnerable, that we can't open ourselves up to new possibilities. Because some of you watching this might relate with you, where you've done everything you can to please. You've pushed yourself to the absolute limit. You've supported and guided and assisted and helped in every way possible, and yet that's supposed to get you what you want, right? But it doesn't always work that way. So that's what I call entrepreneurial suicide, is when you take that dream that you have and you stuff it down. It might be that crazy business that nobody believes in. It might be going out and traveling the world and making something of yourself, doing something that's truly yours, that you own, that you can stand behind 100%. And that's very scary. There's a lot of fear that relates to that. There's a lot of potential risk that's involved with that. But I'm going to tell you right now, one of my biggest regrets in life is that I didn't choose to pursue my own thing sooner. I spent a lot of time scaling up other people's businesses. Now, there's a pro and a con, right? It's not always negative, because what that allows you to do, if you do take that route, is it allows you to sharpen your sword and hone your skills on somebody else's dime. So I'm not sitting here complaining about it, but for those of you that are watching, if you find yourself in a position where you're spending your time helping clients, helping your boss, helping some other company that you're not a part of and don't have ownership of, I urge you to really aggressively reconsider how quickly you're picking up the skills that relate to your industry and to the things that you're doing. And if that ramp-up time is not extremely quick and extremely fast and extremely efficient, I would recommend that you take the plunge and do something else rather than waste any more time to buy into something, hoping that you get a sense of validation. Now, there's a macro concept here, this idea of the narcissist and codependent relationship, which plays into this, and I'll touch on this as well. So I'm very much an empath, right? I'll see somebody going and having a hard time, and I feel that same emotion. If I see somebody struggling, I feel that struggle, and I try and help. I try and heal. I try and contribute. And I used to come from the position that everybody was like that. But the more time that I spend in business, the more I realize that people come from all walks of life and that not everybody's like that. And the most common definition of that is the narcissist and codependent relationship. So very often the empath falls into a codependent pattern with somebody who is a narcissist. And that narcissist or sociopath or psychopath, however you want to define it, isn't able to actually gain leverage over the empath and have that person do their bidding while essentially portraying what's known as narcissistic abuse onto that person. And I'll be fully transparent. I've seen myself fall into those patterns several times now within my career. And so that's why this trip is actually so eye-opening for me, and I'm having to share this video. It's a very vulnerable video. I'm sharing aspects of my life that I think many people are not aware of and that many people wouldn't even share themselves if they were going through. But I've always tried very hard to put myself under the gun. If anybody's going to be under fire, I'll put myself under fire for you guys, for the community, for every single person watching, so that if you are experiencing something where you feel undervalued, underappreciated, to any extent, that we help guide that path for you forward towards abundance, towards waking up, living a life full of joy, full of excitement, full of gratitude, full of being able to experience life to the fullest. So let's talk about some of the positives of what this has allowed me to do. So number one is it's allowed me to hone my skill sets very, very quickly, because I was able to dial in and say, these are the skills I want to learn. I don't have a $10 million company per year myself. So what's the best thing I can do? Well, if I want to see how a $10 million per year company is run, I should put myself into a company that already exists and try and catch on to that through the existing systems and plug myself in so I can see it firsthand. And I was able to do that. So that's really, really powerful. We were able to accomplish a lot within the company as well. So I was able to contribute and help other people in the company that I deeply care about, that I consider not just my colleagues, but also my friends. So there's a benefit there. I picked up a great wealth of knowledge, and then I can apply it into any business that I want. So it's not all negative, but the title of this video is going to be Entrepreneurial Suicide, because I call this the resume effect, right? Or the looking for a job effect. As soon as you default to no longer paving your own road, as soon as you say, listen, I'm not good enough to pave my own road here, I'm too scared, would somebody else pave the road for me and I'll drive down it? That's truly where I believe you are dead as an entrepreneur. It's very difficult to come back from that. And what happens is you'll go through and you'll pop yourself into a paradigm of scarcity as soon as you choose to go out of it. So what will happen is you'll have this great dream, you'll pursue it, you'll fail, you'll pursue it, you'll fail, you'll pursue it, you'll fail a few times. And if you're one of the few that's truly resilient, then I commend you and I urge you to continue pushing forward. If you're somebody who's currently in that phase, I urge you to keep pushing forward. Please leave a comment below, anything that I can contribute or anybody else can contribute in this community towards helping you through that struggle and getting your elbows in the mud and pushing through so that you can build that little dream that you have. Let's make sure that we do that. You have to understand that there is a supportive community there of people that have been through it and are going through it. So this is very much a community movement. But what often happens is people give up. They say, that was too hard, I'm gonna go get a job. And as soon as they do that, they kind of write off their dream. They write off their dream and they hand it to somebody else. And it's always very painful for me to see, because I've done it myself and I've gone full circle. I've handed off the dream, I've come back to the dream, I've handed off the dream, I've come back to the dream. And now I'm at the point where I'm hammering the dream home every single day, every single minute that I live. I'm hammering home the dream, and it can be very scary, it can be very intimidating. There's a lot of risk that you have to be able to tolerate and be comfortable with. But what it does do is it allows you to, wake up in a place like this and look around and truly feel like you are on your purpose in life. And I just can't help but wonder what would happen if every single person on this planet, when they woke up in the morning until the time that they went to bed, was living their true purpose in life. What would this planet look like? I mean, that's such an amazing thing to really think about, right? What if everybody was able to invent those great things that they wanted to invent and do those great things that they wanted to do? And what if everyone was happy? Truly, genuinely happy, not just because of money or some material possession, but truly, genuinely happy. And so this idea of entrepreneurial suicide doesn't just apply to making money, it applies way beyond that. It applies to a deep sense of purpose that you have on this planet. And that's not something that I can replace for you. That's not something that anybody else can replace for you. That's something that's truly unique to who you are. So, that's why I came here. I had to reset. I had to reevaluate everything that I was doing because I found myself a part of a company that I felt didn't appreciate me and didn't value me and didn't have my best interests in mind, that truly would allow me to grind myself into dust and into the ground in every way possible until there was a semblance of a soul left because I was working so hard, and then some. And that's not a stab at anybody. That's my own sense of type A personality, workaholic tendencies, some trauma that I probably have as a child that, you have to just outwork everybody that's contributing to that. So it's no fault of anybody else but myself. But standing here, I've had great revelations as it relates to pursuing your life purpose and being extremely unapologetic about it, being merciless about it, and anybody or anything that stands in your way, just completely smashing through and destroying that as the obstacle that it is, and not letting it delude you into thinking that, it's a positive detraction or a meaningful pursuit in any capacity, because it's very easy to be deceived and tricked yourself. We trick ourselves into thinking, oh, okay, I'll just get this job for a little while to pay the bills, and later I'll do that great clothing line or that great business. But often later never comes. So today, do it today. Start today. And every day from today, moving forward, do a little bit. Do something. Just don't do nothing. Don't kill that inner entrepreneur inside of yourself, because it's truly beautiful. It's going to last longer than I am going to last on this planet. One day I'll be dead, and hopefully that essence of creativity, of art, of building something better, of helping the planet, of making the world a better place, that's going to last far longer than I'm going to last. So hopefully this video resonated with you and it got you thinking about your potential and what you could actually do in this world. And maybe it started to shine a light on that little treasure box of potential that you've kept hidden from yourself. And hopefully it's gonna give you just a little sliver of courage. And hopefully is going to give you the courage that you need to push forward, take action, and set aside your differences with your other self and say, you know what? I'm not gonna give up. I'm not gonna let that inner entrepreneur die. I'm gonna push through, I'm gonna push forward, and whatever things come in my way, I'm going to defeat them. I'm gonna conquer them. I'm gonna push through. I'm going to overcome any obstacle. And to end this video, I'll share a little personal prayer that I say. Now, I'm not a very religious man. I am spiritual though. And this is a prayer that I say every time that I'm going through a hard time. So I'll share that with you here. So the way that it goes is, Dear Lord, forgive me, protect me, and guide me towards the temple of flickering light. The valleys of sin and the mountains of struggle we will overcome. As sure as the dawn of the sun when it rises, at night when it sets, your generous blessings and gifts I will never forget. I give you my body, my heart, and my soul through the passage of time. For in every single moment in which I am yours, you are mine, and together we shine. I ask you today for the courage to love and the power to win, and shield and sword for the battles to come, both without and within. Amen. And with that, I want to thank you for watching this video. As always, like, comment, subscribe. This has been Mikhail with Hustle System, where art meets commerce, coming to you from Cape Town, South Africa, with love. I'll see you in the next one.